All right, I'm going to try to make this quick because the last video I did was over 3 minutes. So this is my presentation, and it's on setting up a story and scene or animation. Um, so it's three separate yet very, codependent, interdependent components: the characters, the setting and timing, and the setting into timing. So for creating characters, determine how many you are going to how many main characters you're going to have, and then design them thoughtfully with a lot of things in mind. What's their main essence or archetype of them? Like, is it the hero, the villain, the comedic, the joker added for comedic effect, the teacher, the mentor, whatever. Um, uh, and how is that going to affect their traits? Are you going to have it affect their physical appearance, mannerisms, the things they say, or the way they are drawn and animated, and how? Like, is it a cute little cat that's going to be animated in a really bouncy way, and this squishy little chubby kitten or whatever? Or is it going to be a villain who's going to, be I don't know, a lich, an undead lich? Or are they going to be a villain that looks like a normal human and like a normal person and pretends to be? Because you can have them look evil, or you can have them look. You can have their looks match their personality and essence and motivations, or you can have them not. Um, what is their backstory, motivation, and goals? And are these things shown, implied, or a complete mystery? And if they're a mystery, will they ever not be a mystery? Um, what other traits do they have, and what flaws do they have? Um, like the villain is a vampire who's pretending to be a normal human, but can't be in like an Italian restaurant because of the garlic or something, and that makes it like suspicious. Given their traits and ambitions, how do they behave and in situations, whether it's the normal situation or an unnormal one? Like, what will their facial expression be? What will their mannerisms be? How do the characters you have determine the events that transpire, and how? Which characters are involved in which scenes and why? Like, your main character is probably going to be in all of them, almost, if not all of them. But not all of them will be. What are the relationships between the characters? Have they always been the way that they are? And will those relationships ever change? What is each character's relationship with the audience? How is their screen time shared? How and when are characters introduced? Again, how many characters are there? Is there only one? Are there 18? How open is each character's backstory and motivations and goals to the audience? Are one of the characters a narrator? Is it just a narrator character that's like disembodied? Is it the hero themselves? Is there no narrator? Is it another character in there, like an old man who's like, "Oh, I watched that happen"? Um, how is the audience supposed to feel about a character? Is it like, for example, is it a purely irredeemable villain, or is it a villain with a tragic backstory that you feel kind of bad for? Um, how is each character affected by the setting, and how do they affect the settings in turn? Like, do they accidentally, like, are they an elf in a dwarf kingdom, and elves and dwarves had a war or something, and so they, you know, they're discriminated against, and then in turn maybe they get chased and they have to run away, and maybe like they break something in the process. Creating the setting, what's the time and place? Is it real, fiction, realistic fiction, past, future, present, unknown, or not applicable because it's not, in this universe? What is the place like? Let's go with government, people, laws, places. How big is it? Is it like a town that makes up a larger kingdom, or is it the larger kingdom itself? And if so, what are the smaller pieces? And how do these pieces interact with each other? And how are they different? What's the geographical location? How does its climate and stuff affect the wildlife and architecture, and what it's like to live and visit there? And as well as like the animation. Like, if you're going through a swamp, your character is not going to be doing a normal walking cycle. They're going to be trudging. They're going to be walking with heft because it's harder. What is the place's history? How do you convey the details of the setting? Are they directly visible, like trees? You're in a forest and you can see trees everywhere, so you're like, yeah, duh. Is it shown through the sound of the scene? Like, you're in a village and you can hear seagulls, so even if you don't even see the sea itself, you're like, okay, we're by the sea. Which are stated directly in conversation by other characters, which are implied or assumed due to the other things that we already know, which are not yet conveyed. Why and when should they be conveyed ever? should they be conveyed now? Like, should you change it? When will they be conveyed? And which are not conveyed or confirmed at all, and why? Is it for the sake of mystery and, um, I forgot the word. It's not conceptualization, but deliberation. Thinking about what, just adding mystery. How does the setting influence the art and animation style you use, and vice versa? Like, are you good at drawing creepy trees? If are you trying? Do you have to make a thing with a swamp? In which case, how are you going to animate the water and the people in the water? And for the timeline, make them. First of all, make the X sheets. What will happen uh, when in the scene and why? If it's a longer story or a series of shorts that all share the same world and characters, make an overarching timeline for the story itself. Probably a good idea. And so, what's the most logical and impactful order of events? And that's under the story timeline one, but it's applicable to both. What events transpire off screen and why? Um, like side questing for like a D&D like animation. Are specific actions, scenes, or events longer than necessary rushed, or are they fine? And if they're not fine, then fix them. Um, Always consider whether a scene, action, a frame or a group of frames, or a detail is necessary. Is it crucial to completing the scene or action, like a frame where they're taking a step forward and it's just a walking cycle? That would be crucial. So keep it in. If it's not, then you have to ask yourself questions. Does it add comedic value? Is it like a detail where like they're making funny face? Does it add emotion appeal? Do they look sad? Does it draw in the audience? Does it make the setting or characters seem more real? Does it like are they is the character reacting a certain way to a certain thing because of the way that they are, what they've been through? Does it explain or hint at previously unconfirmed details about a place, person, or thing? Foreshadowing. Does it look or sound nice enough to draw in the audience a little extra, maybe? Does it allow the actions and or scenes to be long enough to fit the time allotted? And on the opposite side of the spectrum, would it make them too long? And yeah, I was gonna say another thing, but it probably already was over 3 minutes, and I think that's the end of the end of the presentation.